Well, welcome everyone. We're at the top of the hour. You are in the Fostering Professional Self-Advocacy, How to Help Students Communicate Soft and Hard Skills to Employers. Thank you so much for being here. And for those of you just joining, welcome. We are going to hear from Lynn King and Evan Gray in developing career readiness through CHAMPS peer mentoring. Lynn is currently a graduate student pursuing a Master's of Arts in Organizational Leadership with a specialization in leadership. She works as a student success assistant for Ashford and is serving as the president of Forbes Business and Technology Business Management Club. Lynn is also serving as the marketing coordinator for the Ashford University Site Club and additionally serves on the advisory board and development team for the CHAMPS Distinguished Mentor Council here at Ashford University. Evan Gray is in his 12th year as a member of Ashford University, his current role as the Student Success Program Manager. He oversees the CHAMPS mentoring program as a member of the Student Affairs Department. He has a Bachelor's of Science in Business Information Systems from Missouri University of Science and Technology and an MBA from Ashford University. We're looking forward to hearing from you both. The floor is yours.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Holly, and thank you, Matt. I think that was a really good presentation we heard earlier, and another great presentation from our Distinguished Mentor Council. I think I saw the note in the chat from Matt, where he was really highlighting a lot of our student-driven initiatives, that come to light. And I think I just love to see that. I concur with that thought, Matt, on, the ideas and the things that we do really come from our students. And I'm just happy to be a part of it, and it's great to work with everybody. Today, the first few slides I have is kind of general info on, the CHAMPS program itself. I think everybody here is either works for us or have participated in it. I know some folks in the future may see the recording and not be as familiar, so we'll touch on some of the basics of it. But really what we want to highlight today, and that the bulk of it will be Jamie going through how the experience of our students, both mentors and mentees, are helping to replicate real life scenarios that will help get them prepared, for a future career when they're done with their degree. So thanks to everybody for being here today. Go ahead, Holly, if you'd like to flip forward, please. So we have on the screen just a quick note on the mission of the CHAMPS Peer Mentoring Program. I wanted to just take a moment, for this group, as we're all, as a university, looking at, transitioning, away from Ashford and rebranding our university, that you will start to see more and more often the word peer, being dropped, from CHAMPS. So today we'll certainly focus on the peer mentoring connections that have come in. We are still all going to be about student success, but it's not always going to be peer-to-peer. With the addition of our Center for Women's Leadership Plan, our mentor pool there is comprised of a lot of faculty members and other colleagues of our faculty and staff and so forth. And so as we transition, our university, our program is going to continue to evolve and be more known as just the CHAMPS Mentoring Center or CHAMPS Mentoring Program. We want to be the place where internally we can support other, colleges, support staff, et cetera. And then also others, outside of the university, where we can be seen as a resource, to provide mentoring and all the benefits that come with that. Feel free to scoot forward. Thank you. So quickly, for those that aren't aware, introducing our CHAMPS program, we match our higher achieving upper class students, our alumni, with newer students to Ashford. Our pairings meet via Zoom or the phone, preferably Zoom, since now everybody's pretty used to Zoom. This was a challenge for us, and then COVID came around, and now everybody's got Zoom, so it seems to be a little bit more comfortable these days. But all of our CHAMPS programs all have unique milestone programs, and really the purpose of the various plans we have is to really meet our students where they are at. So if you're a brand new student, you've never done any college experience, no online experience, and this whole process and college in general is new to you, then we have a plan for you. we also recognize that we have students that come in with, up to 90 credits that are, putting a bow on their academic career or their degree program. And so they are then now looking at the future. And so we have a plan for that student as well. So hopefully our students, if you're seeing this and interested in becoming a part of CHAMPS, whether that's a mentor, mentee, understand we'll have a plan that will fit your need and where you're at and how you can contribute or learn. Go ahead, Holly. Thank you. So in brief, these are our program learning outcomes for all of our CHAMPS programs. We spent a lot of time, this has now been a couple of years ago, studying and understanding what really our students need to be successful students, not just in the short term, but in the long term. So we want to see them through and certainly support that first year of their studies with us, but then also set them up for success, moving forward. So first, we want to make sure they do feel connected to the Ashford University learning community. In our program, we call that getting off of online student island, and this notion or feeling that you're doing it by yourself and it's just you and your computer, in your desk, but you're amongst thousands of other people and faculty and staff that are all here, comprising our university. We also want to make sure that they can identify, their own academic and personal and social needs to be a successful student. So if they are extremely outgoing, and they want to be involved in different clubs and organizations, to make sure we're able to help connect the dots for them and introduce them. And I think Matt mentioned in his presentation earlier that one of the best ways to land the job you want is through networking. And so we have a lot of talented people and professionals that comprise our university, and we want to be able to help get them connected. Thirdly, we want to make sure they know the academic resources they need to be successful. That's our writing center, our library, Canvas, the course shell, all of those types of things that we know that they're going to need to access routinely to be successful. And then finally, to be able to impact the knowledge and the skills and ability that they have to progress through their own academic program. Academic programs are different at the university. The requirements are different. The types of courses they will take are different. So we want to make sure within their specific program that we're able to boost, what they know, what they don't know, they know yet, but help bring them along and give them the skills and the belief that they can be successful in their own academic program, and tie that, obviously to what they're looking to do in their career. Go ahead, Holly. Thank you. Just a quick note on matching for those that aren't aware. We always joke we're a little bit like Match.com. But we really want to be intentional with our matching, and the part of the Chronos software and the platform we use enables us to do that, very, very, not quickly and easily, but we want to make sure we're connecting on the right things that matter to our students. So, the college that they're in, the region that they live in, the country or overseas, their family dynamics are important. So if they have kids or don't have kids, we know that can sometimes be a barrier or a challenge to being successful with being an online student. Any military affiliation, the individual needs, and then the mentoring plans that I mentioned a moment ago. All right, so for here today, the bulk of our presentation, again, we want to make sure that we are illustrating the CHAMPS experience and the communication, the connections that our mentors and mentees have, and make sure that we're understanding how this experience is enabling them to gain experience in leading one another, communicating with one another in a setting where if we were at a physical campus, this communication, the interactions, these things happen all the time. But in the online world, it's a bit of a challenge. And so today we want to make sure that this group knows and understands what are the NACE Career Readiness Competencies, make sure we can all understand how the career readiness impacts our new college graduates. We're going to acknowledge how our program aligns with the NACE competencies and fosters that career readiness. And then finally, recognize that CHAMPS members are better prepared to step into the future of success. The last note that I have is, we recognize as Ashford students, we do not have co-op programs. We do not have internship programs. My University of Missouri, Rolla at the time, now Missouri University of Science and Technology, had a very detailed plan within my own degree program where you are going to spend at least one semester off of campus getting real life, real work experience. Unfortunately, we don't have that. And so it's my belief that the CHAMPS program is the leading program at our university that's going to help create these types of experiences for our students and help them feel and get more prepared for that job interview, for that experience in their resume, and be able to help them, catapult themselves into their career in the future. And with that, I will turn it over to Jamie to go through the bulk of our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Evan. Yeah, I agree. The peer mentoring program enables students to have more peer-to-peer interaction and provides a level of support that I think really is motivational and helps students to succeed academically. As y'all know, students face an array of expectations. Students are expected to succeed academically, but employers look at them to also have interpersonal proficiencies. And so according to the NACE journal article entitled "The Value of Engaged Students," only about 11% of business leaders and 14% of the general public feel strongly that students who graduated from college had the skills necessary to succeed in the workplace. Next slide, please, Holly. So the Gallup-Purdue Index 2015 Great Jobs, Great Lives report detailed how students increase their capability to maintain their personal well-being if they have specific experiences throughout their college career. Students who engage in their profession once they actually graduate college, the students that engaged inside of school activities, whether those be co-curricular or extracurricular, were nearly 2 times more likely to actually engage in their profession post-graduation. So I thought that was really interesting. Holly, can you go to the next slide, please? So the NACE competencies, what are they? What are they? There are actually 8 of them. Critical thinking and problem solving, oral, written communications, teamwork, collaboration, digital technology, leadership, professionalism and work ethic, career management, and global intercultural fluency. Next slide, please. So you can kind of see here, this just restates what I just told you, what those 8 proficiencies are. So next slide, please, Holly. So the first one, I'm going to go ahead and define these for you, is critical thinking, problem solving. So that means that you are able to exercise sound reasoning to analyze issues, make decisions, and overcome problems. The individual is able to obtain, interpret, and use facts, knowledge, and data in this process and may demonstrate originality and inventiveness. So partaking in experiential learning activities and programs such as the CHAMPS program actually gives those students the ability to exercise those reasoning skills and analyze issues outside of the classroom. So it gives them some real world experience. Next slide, please. So competency 2, oral written communications. So the oral and written communications is the ability to articulate thoughts and ideas clearly and effectively in written and oral forms to persons inside and outside of the organization. The individual has public speaking skills and is able to express ideas to others, can write, edit memos, letters, and complex technical reports clearly and effectively. So our mentors and mentees get experience, especially with the oral communications. There is a lot of dialect that goes on between them. They strongly develop their interpersonal communication skills. They also, especially on the mentor side, learn to conduct themselves in more of a professional written and oral capacity. So I think that's great. They have the opportunity to fill out feedback surveys to really let us know how things are going. So that also further develops those written communication skills. Next slide, please. So competency number 3 is teamwork and collaboration, which is building collaborative relationships with colleagues and customers representing diverse cultures, races, ages, genders, religions, lifestyles, and viewpoints. The individual is able to work within a team culture and can negotiate and manage conflict. And so this is something very strong that is especially learned in the Distinguished Mentor Council, because that is a team that is working together, they're collaborating, they're getting things done. But there's also a relationship of teamwork between the mentor and the mentee. They're working together toward common goals. They're working to achieve different milestones. And so it really helps to learn to work with someone else. And our pairings, you know, we have a diverse student base here at Ashford. So students have that opportunity to learn from people who, you know, are a little bit different. So I think it's wonderful. Next slide, please. So competency in digital technology. So this means leveraging existing digital technologies ethically and efficiently to solve problems, complete tasks, and accomplish goals. The individual demonstrates effective adaptability to new and emerging technologies. And so definitely CHAMPS is a great way for students to develop that digital technology skill. In addition to the Cronus platform, there's a Cronus app that they can use on mobile devices. We have a CHAMPS Facebook group, so that gets them on social media as well as LinkedIn. We even have an event, several different event spaces there on Facebook that we're leveraging, and using Zoom for all the different CHAMPS chats. So an engaged CHAMPS member, you know, is using all different sorts of technologies, and that's really wonderful. And then the Distinguished Mentor Council, you know, they've been introduced to, you know, S'more and Canva and different types of digital technologies that help enhance, you know, their marketing skills for the different events that they're hosting and creating those newsletters. So really there is a lot of digital technology learning, I think, going on inside of the CHAMPS program. Next slide, please. So competency 5, leadership. Leadership is leveraging the strengths of others to achieve common goals and use interpersonal skills to coach and develop others. The individual is able to assess and manage his or her emotions and those of others, use empathetic skills to guide and motivate, and organize, prioritize, and delegate work. And so the mentors are in a position of leadership. They are organizing, they're managing their time, they're setting up these meetings, they are motivating and leading these mentees to step into a future of success academically by giving them that support, giving them that motivation. So that is also something that I see throughout the entire program with the Mentor Council, lots and lots of strong leadership skills developing. Next slide, please. Competency, professionalism, and work ethic. So demonstrate personal accountability and effective work habits, punctuality, working productively with others, time, workload management, and understand the impact of nonverbal communication on professional work image. The individual demonstrates integrity and ethical behavior, acts responsibly with interest of larger community in mind, and is also able to learn from his or her mistakes. So this is something that is well developed, learning to work together in a responsible manner for the mentees and mentors, showing up to those meetings on time, learning to be punctual, learning to manage their time. So it's something that that you can get in the classroom, but you're getting it in an experiential way. It's not like you have to meet a deadline. You're actually having a meeting that you have to be accountable for. And so that very much strengthens, I think, work ethic when you learn to be accountable. Next slide, please. So career management, identify and articulate one's skills, strengths, knowledge, and experiences relevant to the position desired and career goals, and identify areas necessary for professional growth. The individual is able to navigate and explore job options and can take the steps necessary to pursue opportunities and understands how to self-advocate for opportunities in the workplace. And so we have a specific plan in CHAMPS, the Career and Professional Development Plan, which gets the student thinking of their resume and gets them thinking about what do they want to do once they actually graduate. In all of the plans, you're learning about, you know, your goals. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? Where have you already been? And how does that help you advance in your future? And so I think that career management is something that is essential. All students are getting it in the CHAMPS program, but this is also something that the new CWL program will very much help those students with also. Next slide, please. All right, so this is the final competency, the global intercultural fluency: value, respect, and learn from diverse cultures, races, ages, genders, sexual orientations, and religions. The individual demonstrates openness, inclusiveness, sensitivity, and the ability to interact respectively with all people and understands individual differences. And we have a very diverse student base here in the CHAMPS members, and I feel like students are exposed to such a vast amount of differences, diverse differences, because of the fact that there's no geographical boundaries. We're going to school online. So essentially you could be meeting with somebody who's stationed overseas or, you know, lives on the other side of the United States. So it gives students a lot of opportunity to interact with people who have different values and, you know, things than they do their own. And the CHAMPS program is so important because it provides an opportunity for students to apply their education in a professional setting and delivers an experiential learning experience. CHAMPS aids in the development of emotional intelligence, internal awareness, and regulation. CHAMPS members can exhibit ambition and flexibility when engaging others. So according to Connecting Bridges, introducing the co-curricular career connections learning model, which is very fascinating, I have read a lot about it, there is mounting evidence that suggests a connection between participating in the co-curricular experiences like CHAMPS and the development of the skills that are desired by employers. So there's a strong connection in being able to actually master these NACE competencies by that experience that you're getting outside of the classroom. Griffin, Peck, and LeCount found that after classroom learning, no other experience that they have studied has made such a big impact on students. So the learning that takes place outside of the classroom just has a huge impact. Whenever students were asked to think of one thing that had impacted them more than anything else in their time at education, 4/5 of those students' answer was learning that took place outside of the classroom, whether that was at an extracurricular activity, co-curricular experience. So being involved in different student organizations like CHAMPS, that really does make a difference in those impactful, lasting results that these students get. And then they're stepping into the world more prepared to be successful in their roles and in life in general. And I'm going to go ahead and hand it back over to Evan.
Thank you, Jamie. A couple of slides here as we wrap up our presentation. I want to be able to connect the dots on how career readiness impacts new college students. Go ahead, Holly. Thank you. So first off, so now that everyone has a good understanding of NACE and the connection between what the college experience should look like, and then in turn of what employers are looking for. The question here is, well, what employees find essential versus what do students find important? And I think that this graph here shows that there's a pretty good idea, I think, from both students and employers that these are things that they consider, that they, their employers are looking from our students. And it's our job as members of this learning community and our university to make sure we're providing that type of experience. And so as you can see, things like teamwork and collaboration, oral written communication, critical thinking and problem solving, just as an example, those top things, both students look at that and think, yes, I think these things are going to be important, and employers do as well. And so for me, that's a really good indication of an equal baseline between our student population and the employers then who are going to be recruiting our students. And we want to make sure that our students are prepared, for these competencies. And again, that is our job as school administrators to be able to help facilitate these types of learning activities and experiences, and making the most of what we have as a university to help get our students prepared. Next slide, please. And then finally, the importance of soft skills. And I think soft skills, for me in my time at Ashford, and the development of our students' soft skills is critically important. I think we see a lot that our students are incredible writers, right? They write so many discussion posts, they write so many papers, they have so many messages that go back and forth. But from my own personal experience, when we have opportunities to engage and talk with them, whether it's via Zoom or any of our CHAMPS chats or webinars that we put on, this is a real need of our student base. That clear oral communication, being able to advocate for themselves, advocate for the experiences that they have in life, is something that as an online student and the nature of the way our students go to school is a struggle. And it's something that us as a university, again, has to continue to provide these types of experiences to develop these soft skills. And so I don't think there's any mystery with these competencies and what employers are looking for. We know our students have a ton of life experience. For many of them, they're getting back into school after working different jobs or raising a family and working, with kids in their own schools. And so now they're at a point where they can finish a degree and move onward and upward in their life. And we have to help them be prepared where they can explain the experiences they have. They can talk about their education and what they know to be able to go out and compete in the job market and ultimately do what they're here to do. And that's to earn a degree, move onward and upward in their careers, and provide for their families.